Hello, my name's Lizzie. I'm Anglican, and in 9 days' time, I'm going to be moving into a convent ready to become a postulant. This particular question isn't one that I've been asked specifically, but it's a question that I thought could be interesting to make a video about because I've had conversations with I've got a lot of friends who are female and Christian, and some of them haven't been able to have children, or some of them it's not so much that they're not yet married, but as they actually feel that God's calling them to be single. And I know that there are some women out there who maybe have to have surgery that affects their kind of their identity as a woman, and so there are lots of women out there who might feel that for various reasons that they're somehow not living the life that a woman is expected to live, or something like that. And definitely I know that I've got some friends in some Christian circles who feel that they're in a Christian circle where it's seen that they're either not fully living out their female vocation or something if they're not married and if they're not having children and that kind of thing. So this is a video that kind of is about religious life and nuns, but also extends wider to all those women that I've just mentioned in those examples as well.
I will hold your people in my heart.
I think maybe now we're living in a culture that's got a different mindset. Well, obviously it has got a different mindset from how it's been in centuries past. So I think it is now a bit more acceptable, or people are more understanding if you've got a woman who isn't married or hasn't got children, or and people are, I think most people probably know women who've had to have quite invasive surgery and all these kinds of things, and so I think people are more, what's the word, I think people are more educated, or more aware of all the different things that can happen in people's life situations, so that they wouldn't say, oh, because because you don't have this in your life, you're not truly a woman. And I know that there are women who receive a lot of help so that they don't feel like they're less of a woman just because of different circumstances. But on the subject of what is it that makes someone a woman in the first place, I was reading a book by Ruth Burrows, who you've probably heard of, or you might have heard of. She's a Carmelite nun. I love her books. I was reading her book called Living Love, and when I was in a convent once, and I was making some notes, not that you can see them, and I just found this little bit where she was talking about what it is to be female, or what it is to live out your vocation as a woman. And she's writing it as a nun, and she was basically saying that whereas some people see the fullness of a woman's vocation in being a wife and being a mother, she was saying that she also sees the fullness of a woman's vocation in being a nun at the same time. And to kind of summarize what she was saying that at its deepest, a woman's vocation is to give of yourself completely to other people. It's well known that you get very devoted wives, and it's extremely hard-working, devoted mothers. And I've got lots of friends who are mums of young children, and it's quite astounding how much they go through and how much they do for their children and for their families. And what Ruth Burrows was saying is that same amount of sacrificial love that you see from a mother for her children, especially, she sees that kind of sacrificial love can also be lived out in religious life by being a nun or a sister. And the whole thing of just endless, I think of my friends who are mums, who are just endlessly giving, tirelessly working from the crack of dawn to bedtime, constantly giving of themselves physically, emotionally, and basically what I'm trying to share is that Ruth Burrows was saying that same giving of yourself in a family context can also be can also sum up or be, you can also give yourself in that same kind of way in a religious life context. And I'm pretty sure she was saying also that just like you could maybe argue that most women are called to motherhood of some description. She was saying, and I've heard other sisters talk about how as a nun, obviously you're not called to be a kind of biological mother, but then you're called to be a spiritual mother. So basically a lot of sisters have seen parallels in what you might have if you were a wife and a mother in a biological sense, that they see a parallel to that kind of life but being lived out in their vocation in religious life. I hope that makes some kind of sense, and I hope that's helpful to someone.